Hello, everyone. My name is Mackenzie Merrick. I'm an account manager at Infinity Benefit Solutions. Today, we are going to talk about COBRA employer responsibilities. All right. So on our agenda today is we're going to talk about what is COBRA continuation coverage. And then we are going to kind of walk through the steps of what the COBRA process is and what the employer is responsible for at each step of the process. And then at the end, we will talk about a COBRA alternative and give you some resources that you will be able to share with your employees if they do experience a COBRA qualifying event. The first thing we're going to talk about is what is COBRA continuation coverage. Not a lot of people, especially employees, are familiar with COBRA unless they have experienced a COBRA qualifying event before. So COBRA is basically a continuation of an employer's group health plan. So medical, dental, vision, HRA, and FSA. It's important to remember the HRA and the FSA. Many don't realize that those are actually COBRA eligible benefits. And the people who are actually eligible for COBRA would be covered employees, spouses of those covered employees, and then dependent children. And employers that have to offer COBRA coverage are employers of 20 or more employees that have group health plans. So important to remember that 20 or more employees is actually a combination of both full and part-time employees. If you're not sure if you fall into that category or not, definitely reach out to your account manager at Infinity Benefits. We can help you calculate the full-time and part-time employees to figure out if COBRA is something that you should be offering to your employees. It's important to note that in some states there is a possibility that life insurance would be a COBRA eligible benefit, but in Wisconsin it is not. So that is something that you wouldn't have to worry about. And here at Infinity, we would be able to let you know if it is something you should be offering your employees. There is a possibility that you would obviously have to offer a conversion for that life plan, but that's something that we would talk about separately of COBRA. The first step in COBRA is a COBRA general notice. So when you hire an employee, they take any of your COBRA eligible plans, so medical, dental, vision, HRA, FSA, like we talked about before, you have to send out a general notice. This describes the COBRA rights for the employee and the spouse or the dependent. This allows them to make an informed decision if they were to go through a COBRA qualifying event. Most times, COBRA is being administered by the carrier or a TPA. So your responsibility as an employer would be to notify the carrier or the TPA that you have hired someone and they have taken any of the COBRA eligible benefits. You have to do that within 90 days of coverage. There is a possibility that if you want to, during open enrollment, if you aren't sure, throughout the year, if you may have missed an employee that has come onto the plan and you're not sure if you sent out a general notice or not, there is a possibility you could include that in the summary plan description at open enrollment that you should be giving to your employees. That's something we can work with whoever is generating your summary plan description. There is a general notice template on the DOL website that we can assist you with putting together and including that in your summary plan description. That is something you would want to talk to your account manager here at Infinity about, and we can help coordinate that. Again, important to remember the time frame of all of these would be the 90 days of coverage. A lot of people, kind of forget what their responsibility is. They don't know how long they have. I always say it's always a good idea that when you are enrolling someone with the carriers, that immediately after you do that, you go into your COBRA portal or whoever is administering it and send out that general notice right away. So then you don't forget that that needs to go out. It kind of just should be all part of your onboarding process. And then the next step is, after a while, you might have an employee that goes through a COBRA qualifying event. Those qualifying events would be a termination if they were fired or if they quit, or if they went from full-time to part-time and they are coming off the plan, they would be offered COBRA at that point. Another qualifying event would be death of an employee. You would offer the spouse or the dependent children COBRA. A covered employee becoming entitled to Medicare. That's kind of a tricky situation there, and we have a resource here at Infinity that we can assist with this on, and we'll get to that towards the end of this presentation. But the spouse is entitled to a COBRA coverage if the covered employee goes on Medicare. Employer bankruptcy, divorce or legal separation, that would be the employee's responsibility to let you know that this is taking place. Otherwise, if they don't let you know, it's not your responsibility to send that out until they let you know that this is taking place. And then child loss of dependent status or aging off the plan. So when they turn 26, they obviously have to come off the plan. That dependent should also be offered COBRA. And your responsibility as an employer, the time frame you have to let the carrier or third-party administrator, TPA, know is within 30 days of that qualifying event. This is super important, especially with a qualifying event, because 9 times out of 10, that employee is going to be coming off the plan and they're going to be going without coverage for a decent amount of time until you let the carrier or TPA know that they need to send out a qualifying event notice. Always a good idea, I say again, kind of make it part of your offboarding process. So when you are terming employees in the portal, the last thing you should do is then go into your COBRA portal and notify them of the qualifying event. So then at the same time that you are terming people or your employees in your portal, you're also terming them in the COBRA portal. This way it doesn't slip your mind, and then the qualifying event employee gets notified in a timely manner and they can make a decision as to whether or not they're going to take COBRA. If you're ever unsure as if you need to offer COBRA or not, definitely let your account manager know. Everyone here at Infinity Benefits is a COBRA expert. They will be able to assist you. If you're having issues with any of the carriers or the TPA who is doing your COBRA, definitely get us involved. We work with many carriers and TPAs that offer COBRA, and we have direct contacts we can go to assist with any issues that you're finding as you go through this process. Open enrollment responsibility. So at open enrollment, it is necessary that you give the same information that you're giving your active employees to the COBRA participants. They need to know if plans are changing, if rates are increasing. They also have the same availability to be able to pick the plans that they want to go on. So if you have 2 plans that you are offering and they're currently, say, on a traditional plan, but they want to move to a high deductible plan, they have the ability to do that. So I always say whatever packet of information you're giving your employees, your active employees, that information should also be sent out to your COBRA participants with an election form, as they need to be able to tell you if they are making any changes or what plans they're selecting. Also letting them know about the current rates, if they're increasing or if things are changing. It's always a good idea to let them know. If they don't send you back an election form, you either keep their plans exactly the same and their rates just increase, which you would let your carriers know or the TPA know that this is happening. And then if you do get an election form, you still have to let the carriers of the TPA know that they're maybe changing plans or they're going to stay the same. Again, if they don't respond and things have changed and you need to select a plan for them, your responsibility is to just select the plan that is most closely associated with the plan they were currently on. So you have the right to do that as an employer if they do not respond in the time that you have given them to make a selection. The last thing I want to point out here is audit your bill. This is super important, not only for COBRA, but just in general, is making sure after you go through open enrollment that everything is correct. And then throughout the year, if you have a lot of COBRA participants, you want to make sure that the carriers and the TPAs are terming these COBRA people in a timely manner, so you're not getting charged for any premium that they're not paying, because you should be getting reimbursed for the payments that are being made by the COBRA participants. And if the carrier or TPA does not term them in a timely manner, you might be on the hook for premium that you were not getting reimbursed for. So I can't stress that enough, that looking at your bill on a monthly basis is super important. If you see something that is a little off, you're like, this doesn't make sense, I haven't seen a reimbursement, but they're still on my bill, definitely get your account manager involved at Infinity. We can help with that. We can go to the carriers. We can find out what's going on for you. So we make sure that you're not on the hook for any premium that has not been reimbursed to you. COBRA alternatives. So COBRA, a lot of people are shocked, obviously, with the premiums that they're paying when they go on COBRA. You know, usually there is employers covering a certain amount of premium as an active employee, and then when the premiums come in through that qualifying event notice, they're shocked with, you know, what they're going to have to pay per month. So a lot of times we have some alternatives that they can do. Obviously, if a spouse has employer coverage somewhere else, a qualifying event would be for them to go on to their spouse's coverage. If they got hired somewhere else, the employer would be able to take them on as well. And then there's individual health plans on the marketplace. That's really tough to navigate a lot of times for employees, and they're not really sure what they should be looking for. So that is why here at Infinity we have Ken Marsh. He is our individual and Medicare expert, and he can help that COBRA employee navigate the marketplace and find out what the best route is for them. If it is an individual health plan, maybe a short-term one for the 2 or 3 months before they were to go on their employers, or if it's going to be a longer-term solution for them as well. And then, like we talked about earlier, Medicare, and navigating Medicare is really tough as well. And that's why Ken is a Medicare expert here at Infinity, and he's great and can really help your employees navigate that solution as well. And I've included his contact information. Feel free to reach out to him with any questions you have, and give his contact information out to any employees that are of Medicare age, or anyone that is possibly looking at COBRA as a solution but sees that it's maybe not as cost efficient as they're hoping. Ken can help navigate that. That is all I have for the COBRA employer responsibilities. If you have any questions after you've watched this presentation, please do not hesitate to reach out to either myself or your direct account manager at Infinity Benefit Solutions. Thank you.